At the point where the cinematic universe, which has been going on for many years, has come, now they have to take everything very seriously and rearrange all the editing and open a clean page. Because in fact, many things have been going upside down for a long time, and we have been talking for a long time that the movie that will fix everything will be the Flash movie. I'll talk about all this and what's going on shortly. But for now, I want to talk about the important details in the trailer. If you're ready, let's start first. I don't think this trailer is an explanatory trailer for those who don't have a good grasp of the story. We understand that he messed things up, but to better understand questions like why Batman and the other Batman came from here in this Supergirl, we need to look at the Flashpoint story in the comics. He was planning to go back in time to save his mother by using Flash Speed Force in the comics. You may remember from the Flash series that Flash's mother was actually killed by his enemy named Reverse from the future, but the blame fell on his father. You can remember him from the scene in the Justice League movie where Flash visits his father while he was in prison. As a result, it is an alternative time for Flash to go back and save his mother. This is an alternate timeline where the brain died and his father turned into Batman, or his mother turned into a Joker. Different stories emerged as a result. At the end of this story, Flash rolled up his sleeves to put everything back on track. In DC line we had transitioned to a new era in the novels that we call the New 52. Thus, DC Comics were also reset and replaced with new stories set in the new series universe. As a result, this movie will follow the same path and will start with the Flash revealing alternative timelines by going back to the past, and Michael's Batman in the 90s or a different Superman will be a different one. We're going to watch a movie full of variations like Wonder Woman. But at the end of the day, they will reset the female universe while they want to return everything to normal. It is not clear yet, but it may be, for example, or names like Jesse Momoa will continue to play the same character in new movies, but different actors will begin to portray Batman or Superman, and I hope this time this is the case. They will be able to make a deal with new actors that will last for many years, so the aim of this movie is to reset the language environment. Let's not forget about it. Let's not get confused later. We see the scene in 2013, when General Zod attacked the world after time travel, but Monop style. On the contrary, in this new timeline, there is no Superman to defend the world anymore, and there is no hope if there is no Superman in this new timeline. Is this the first alternative timeline that emerged because of the Flash, or whether the Flash traveled dozens of different timelines by going back many times to the past? We don't know yet, but in the trailer Flash, when she talks about her mother's living in this timeline, she is implying that there can only be one timeline where her mother lived. Even though her Barry mother lives in this timeline, of course, many things have changed in this timeline like a butterfly effect and she. Now we see that Michael Keaton is Batman in the universe. This is of course great for those who love nostalgia. But we don't know if this is the universe where the Zodiac came from, or whether Michael will switch to another timeline of the Flash. In fact, Michael Keaton played Thomas, not Bruce Wayne this time. We'll also see. We can be because Batman of Forgive Me will also be involved in the action at some point, and somehow they may be able to bring all these universes together and make a mess. In addition, we will meet the Super Gorge, the cousin of Superman, and in the trailer, we will meet a superhero dressed as a domesticated Dobby. It looks like we're going to be watching a version where he's obviously been in captivity for a long time, and I'm really curious about the backstory here. She will learn that it is a facility where she is imprisoned because obviously this girl started to show her powers after our world fell. They took her captive and kept her in a place out of the sun and did tests on her, but in the trailer, two Flashes and Batman are here to find her. We see that they fight and save her and release her, so this girl will get into the action and put on her traditional costume and face General Zod. By the way, supervision won't be a one-shot. In the movie, we will see that Forgive Me plays an important role in Batman's plan to go to the past and even helps him with time travel, and we even know that it was Batman who designed someone's new ring, so Batman becomes an important figure for the Flash character. By the way, speaking of Flash's new ring, this ring was a strange technology in the comics that hides Flash's costume and allows it to jump out of this ring and sit on the Flash. How did they make it into a movie? I'm wondering about that too. Actually, there are dozens of things I wonder about. For example, how did all these Batman costumes come together? These are not Michael's costumes, but Batman costumes played by other actors also. And his hair has turned white in his mansion. Isn't this man an old Batman or Alfred or Aquaman? Whereas whatever the thing looks pretty messy, and frankly I don't know if the general audience will like or follow all this mess, but if you ask me right now, DC looks like they're going to throw all their toys out and get them out of the house before they can separate their loved ones and play. The second trailer for the Flash movie was released and we watched the trailer. The Flash movie has a scenario inspired by DC's Flashpoint story. Those who read the comics on the subject already know the subject, but instead of reading the comics, you can watch the Flashpoint animated movie. In the scene you see here, Michael Keaton's Batman is holding the photo taken with his family. However, the point that draws my attention here is that he puts his hand on the child, not on his family. As in Flashpoint, when Barry changes the past, Bruce Wayne may have died instead of Thomas and Martha. In this case, the person we think is Michael Keaton Batman is actually Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne. Thus, we understand why Batman is older than he should be. I think it is not a coincidence that Baba standing over there looks like Michael Keaton. But that's just a guess. I thought Michael Keaton would definitely be Bruce Wayne until I saw this image. Keep this scene in mind though, because I'm still waiting for it to be Bruce Wayne. However, the loss of Barry's parents might allow him to bond with Michael Keaton's Batman. Because in both possibilities, both of them lose their families. Coming to the Supergirl scenes, here we see Kara talking about the symbol on her chest and its meaning. She wears the same costume as Calle, as Kara Zor-El bears her family surname. And the meaning of this symbol is Superman. Jokingly it means hope. In this scene, Michael Keaton's Batman protects Barry from gunmen. But when we look right back, we see that Yopung Barry is carrying Supergirl. In this scene, as in the Flashpoint animation movie, he will show their struggle until they bring Kara to the sun. As Kara sees the sun, she will go through all of them. However, another detail that interests me is why is Barry hiding behind Batman? Why isn't he using his speed? Barry still has the power of speed and can shoot blue lightning bolts. That's why I say, the trailer shown to us really misleads us. In this scene, we see Namek, whom we know from the movie Man of Steel, attacking Michael Keaton Batman. Well, this animal is named after Superman, and he is such a monster. Right after, a small outro enters and the two Batman symbols that we will see in the movie, the symbol of hope of El and finally the symbol of Flash enters. In this final credit scene, they probably asked Batman for help in rescuing Kara, and he decided to help them. In Flashpoint, Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne, is helping Barry get his son back. He also helped Flash when he learned that he was disgusted with the person he had become after losing his son and that Bruce was doing great in Gotham. Here, too, the same motivation of Batman may contribute to the appreciation of the film by the critics. Yes, friends, the details of the trailer we watched yesterday were like this. Now let's come to the Flash trailer with overflow water. At the beginning of the trailer, we see Barry sitting in some kind of cafe and talking on the phone. After receiving the news, Barry wears his costume that comes out of his ring and goes out in a flash. Just as he is lowering the windows to protect his eyes, a fan who knows Flash is yelling at him. In the next scene, we see him chatting with young Barry and explaining how he got here. Using his speed to prove his powers to young Barry, the Flash manages to surprise him. In this very scene, he sees the images of the alternative future that we see in the trailers and where he hangs out with his family. But what's even weirder is that while Barry's lightning bolts on his arrival here were colored yellow and red, here it is again blue. This can have two meanings, either because the suit she's wearing increases her powers and makes them more intense, because we understand that it makes a difference depending on the costume. If you already look at the costume, it is feeding on the Flash's energy and it changes the color of the energy. However, the Flash's original lightning bolts are still more blue in color, as Barry doesn't have this feature in his normal form and old costume. By the way, Flash's new suit was designed by Batman, so it's perfectly normal for him to develop something that will allow him to increase his speed power and protect it. Considering that the costume came out of a ring, it was designed for the Flash in every sense. The Flash costume of Darkseid's Dark Future was also designed by Bruce Wayne. Looks like Bruce Wayne is doing this costume thing. In this scene, we see that Krypton soldiers have descended to the world and are involved in the war. Except for the very high-ranking Kryptonians in the movie Man of Steel, the others were always hanging out on the mothership. This means that Flash and young Barry are going to hunt some Kryptonians. Now friends, Barry's hair we see in that scene is short, and he is trying to regain his strength. Even failing to do so, Kara will come and fly him into the sky and help him regain his powers. So what is it that we don't know? Why does he use his powers in this new universe at the beginning of the Flash movie, but lose his abilities afterwards? I think in this scene, while the Flash is trying something, Speed Force will come out of his body and move on to young Barry. So when young Barry uses his powers, our Barry will have lost his powers. Well, friends, it is very difficult to present a theory with trailers full of surprises. My thoughts on the subject are like this right now. Let's see what we will see in the movie. In addition, the critics who watched the movie praised the movie a lot. We will see together. Yes folks, that's it for now. What do you think? How does the trailer look? Let's meet in the comments. By the way, I would be very happy if you do not forget to subscribe and like my channel.